What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Friday evening. So, one thing I always loved about Mary J. Blige, she is so candid. She's always been very transparent, very real. And I love her statement about her decision on not to have kids. She says, I have nieces and nephews forever, and I'm always watching how people are scrambling for babysitters. I don't want to go through that. I like my freedom to go and move and do what I want to do. I don't want to have to tend to someone all the time. And I respect that. I absolutely respect that. I think that so many people are too concerned about what other people are doing with their bodies, with their reproductive systems, with their lives, to be honest, right? And one thing I can say is that I always appreciate people who know that not having children is right for them and they stand on that. Like they stand on business. They're not going to bring human beings into the world that they know that they're not ready or willing to properly care for. Having kids is a huge responsibility. And it's always better to know that you're not ready um, to be a mother or, a father instead of the reverse, right? Instead of having kids that you regret or just not being ready for children. This $5,000, I guess, incentive that the government is, giving new mothers or new married couples, I should say, because I think that's the only way that you're going to qualify for it. But in the United States, 5Gs, 5 grand doesn't get you far, especially if you think about how expensive it is to give birth in the hospital. Other industrialized nations, they have, free healthcare, free universal healthcare. Other countries, have extended maternal and paternal leave. They give, the new parents just all kind of like baby packages. I think they do that in like Ireland and the Scandinavian countries. But here, it's pretty much like you're on your own. And those 5 racks really aren't going to go far. Maybe they'll cover a portion of your hospital visit, but they don't cover, childcare. They don't cover formula, Pampers, none of those things. And so for Mary J to say, and for her, she was rich early on in her career. I believe, she got started with What's the 411 when she was fairly young, I think in her 20s. But so for her, it's not even a financial issue, right? It's a time issue, it's a personal issue. And I promise you, I respect that. Like, I think that there are way too many people who, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like the reason why they're so concerned with, other people's wombs and how many kids they're having is because deep down they I don't want to say they regret necessarily their children, but they miss their freedom. They miss their autonomy. They miss that, their ability to move freely. And like she said, not have to scramble for a babysitter, not have to worry about, you know, um, your child in general, right? Because when you're raising a whole other human being, you have to not only focus on the financial responsibility, but also you have to nurture them. You have to guide them. You have to protect them. And that's a lot. And I don't feel like a lot of people are necessarily prepared for that responsibility. And so for Mary J. Blige to know who she is and to understand that, I can do nothing but give her, her props and her flowers because she knows that that's not something that she necessarily wants. And I feel like, a lot of women are taking her stance, which is again why our government is trying to give that weak $5,000 incentive. But and I know the other reason, why I was watching The View and they alluded to, the quote unquote demographic changes in America. But I mean, if they really, truly, wanted children to thrive in this country, they wouldn't be cutting Head Start. They wouldn't be cutting free lunch in school. They wouldn't be dismantling the Department of Education. We would have universal health care. Our maternal mortality rates would not be, as high as they are. I think it's the highest in the free world, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I don't necessarily buy the whole $5,000 incentive for families, but I commend her. I think that she's being honest. She knows who she is as a woman. She says she has nieces and nephews. She likes her freedom. She likes the ability to, shake and move because she's on tour right now, And listen, if she had a child, well, I'm sure the child will be a little bit older, but she would still have to, be concerned about the child's well being, traveling from city to city, state to state. So I know Vivica A. Fox said that she wishes that she would have had kids and settled down, possibly with 50 Cent. Although he has kids, he is like the biggest internet troll. He's a mess and a half. Tracy Ellis Ross just recently came out and said, that she would have liked to have had children when she was younger. And she's kind of a hot button topic right now just because of the whole Shannon Sharp thing. But they're trying to compare, in my opinion, apples to oranges. Tracy isn't out here dating 19-year-olds. She does said she likes younger men, and I mean, I don't blame her. I feel like after you reach a certain threshold, and women, they hit their prime, I guess, intimate prime later on in life anyway. So, and plus, women typically are more mature emotionally, right? We have a higher emotional IQ than men, just because of just how we're socialized. So I feel like that definitely works out in Tracy's favor. But with Mary J, she knows who she is, and she stands on that. And I wish more people would follow her example. I feel like we're seeing more of that, now. Like people are, I guess, the whole, shaming women who don't have kids or who are choosing to stay single longer. It's not necessarily working anymore. Like this year, they said that more women over 40 are having more babies than teenage moms in the first time in American history. So there's a shift. Women are waiting until they are, prepared mentally, physically, um, and when I say physical, I mean, you know, just ready financially and psychologically to give birth. And you're not necessarily always ready in your 20s and 30s. You might have to wait a little bit longer, and that's okay. I feel like more women are choosing to do that or opting out of motherhood completely. I know some people who are like, I don't want kids. I know someone I went to college with, she's married and she's adamant. This is her second marriage, actually. She got divorced in her 30s, but she's like, I still don't want kids. She's working on her second husband. So children are not for everybody. And yes, kudos to Mary J for just knowing, like, I'm good, Just she's like, I'm enough. And I love seeing her evolution throughout the years, right? Like she even tweeted a while back. She said, the person that you met before was a people pleaser. Allow me to reintroduce myself, right? Like she's not taking no crap from anybody because, as we know, the relationship that she had with KC from Jodeci was toxic, right? And she's always been open about her issues with substance abuse. And so just to see her grow and evolve from that, I'm really proud of her. So I know she's acting on Power. She's on tour. She divorced her leech of a husband, Kendrick Isaacs, or Kendo. Kendo, I think that was his name. Kendo, something like that. Kendo. But him trying to make her pay for not only, alimony to him, but like his kids, his parents, his goldfish. Like, dude, have several seats. Like, listen, I don't blame her, right? After a while, you get tired of people leeching off of you. And of course, children aren't leeches, but I'm saying that, once you have been through a lot of negative relationships, like Mary has in her past with KC and Kendu, she probably just feels like, she doesn't want to she's probably happy that she didn't bring a child into such a volatile environment. And so now she's like, I'm good with my nieces and nephews and I'm enjoying my freedom and enjoying her life. Like she doesn't want any more drama, no more drama in my life. And she's focused on herself and her well being. And I really truly hope that more people follow in her example, if that's what they want. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.